Hi, welcome to the Badass Breastfeeding Podcast. This is Dianne, your lactation consultant.
And I'm Abby, the Badass Breastfeeder, and today's episode is brought to you by Nursing Queen. Nursing Queen has awesome, stylish, and fun and cool tops and dresses and all kinds of nursing clothing that are just really cool. And we'll hear more about them later. But you can head to badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com and check out our sponsor page. See if you can give any of them your business because they make this podcast possible. And while you're there, you can scroll down, enter your email address, and we'll send episodes straight to your inbox every week. And we're still on Patreon, and we would still like to see you over there taking advantage of our original content, our extra episodes, and our mini podcasts. And you can head to the link at the top of the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and see if any of those tiers look good to you. And we're still hosting our ongoing giveaway. We would love reviews on iTunes if you're able to do that. If you haven't left one yet, or it's been a while, please do. You can also leave stars on Spotify, or you can also leave comments on Spotify. Share the podcast on your social channels. Take a screenshot, send it to badassbreastfeedingpodcast@gmail.com, and we will send you a goodie bag of thank you for nursing in public cards and podcast stickers. And we really encourage you to do this. It helps us. It's like free advertising, and we will reward you with stickers, which are also free advertising. So don't feel bad about doing something and then asking for like the goodie bag, because it helps us too. Like, this is why we're doing it. We want you to do it. And I guess that's all. Dianne has our review of the week.
Yes, and I don't know where this one came from.
I think it was a comment on Spotify.
Oh, okay. My daughter had jaundice when she was born, but it was slightly more serious because I had an Rh negative pregnancy. It was so traumatizing to navigate as a first-time mom. I was directly feeding my baby and was instructed to express milk between feeds and cup feed her. That was so difficult to do because my real milk only came in 3 to 4 days after she was born. So I had to express colostrum into a cup and cup feed colostrum. We are now at 18 months of breastfeeding. So grateful we pushed through. Jaundice, and I know I'm guilty of this too. I'm like, oh, jaundice is very normal. So many babies get it. It's, it's normal. But it is traumatizing for parents to be separated from your baby like that, and you don't know what's going on. And I think a lot of times the hospital, they're like, oh yeah, your baby's got jaundice. We have to check them for jaundice. Oh yeah, their numbers are really high. You have to stay. Your baby's got to go under lights. Like, they don't really explain to you what's going on. And why would you know what the hell jaundice is if you've never had a baby before? Like, it's a lot to try to take in.
Yeah,
so,
I know Josh was jaundice really bad when he was born.
Oh God.
Like, his mom talks about, Josh is my husband. My mother-in-law talks about how like yellow he was. And like, she's like in her mid 80s. So you know that she was traumatized by it if she still is remembering going through all of that.
Yeah, for sure. She had to have been for her to still talk about it.
Sounds like really freaky. Yeah.
Yeah, it's scary. So I'm glad you made it through and that you're on the other side of that, or you were on the other side of it. But that is a lot of times where they encourage supplementing because jaundice babies need to poop and pee to get that jaundice out, mostly pooping. They poop it out. So they poop out the bilirubin. So they're like, oh, you have to, we have to give your baby more. And they'll like give them like 2 ounces of formula. Like, it's so frustrating because it can really interrupt your breastfeeding. I'm not saying don't do that. You have to kind of do what they're doing at the hospital. What I usually tell parents is I'm like, just do what you need to do until you get home, and then we'll figure out the rest.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, I think now we've talked about this, like, since COVID, people are spending less time in the hospital.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing. Like, I obviously there's situations where babies need to be in the hospital and need to be getting helped by professionals and stuff. But getting home is so nice as well because you can get to your routine. You can work with a lactation consultant. Like, hopefully at this point, if you're going to have a baby, you've listened to our advice and have a lactation consultant on speed dial where you can be like, this is what we're going through and, help us with that. But yeah, when you're in the hospital, I mean, you have to do what they're recommending. I mean, you should, it depends on, if they're recommending something that's like completely out of this world and they're giving you like terrible information. Like I wish I had known certain things with my first.
You can question it. Yeah.
And you can ask questions and stuff, but like, obviously you have to just do what they're like. If you're like, well, I listened to the Badass Breastfeeding podcast and they were like, oh, I don't need formula, I should just breastfeed for it. And they're like really encouraging a little bit of supplementing for jaundice. Like, it's okay.
Yeah. It doesn't mean it's forever.
They're going to help. Yeah. And again, I don't know if you can hear the yelling in the other room, but there's video games happening with very loud people. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. It's funny. They are like going early in the morning.
Oh, they have this new game. It's called Helldivers.
Oh my God.
And it's sort of like Fortnite, I guess. But you can get on with all your friends. So they call their friends and have like a group chat on the phone so that they can be in the game together and then also like be talking to each other. Because with Fortnite, you can go into Fortnite and you can like just be connected. But I guess with this game, you're not like voice connected to. So they'll voice connect on the phone and they're so excited about this game. They've literally been getting up early so that they can play. They get like all their friends together. I mean, it's nice.
Yeah, how fun.
It's funny. I know. It's fun. But they're very dramatic. I swear my kids are the loudest players. I'm like, oh. Did you hear that? That was John sneezing.
Oh my God.
He went,
Abby has so much stuff going on in her house right now.
Oh my God. I was like, I'm going to record upstairs today because it's really cold downstairs. And it may have been a mistake.
Oh man.
Next time I'll go in the closet. Anyway, go ahead.
Go in the closet. Oh my God. Well, while we're talking about this, keep that in mind that Abby's got a very active household this morning. And we're going to talk to you about what nighttime looks like for the breastfeeding Dyad. So, first of all, this is a night in the life. It sounds like a Beatles song, but
it does. I was thinking the same thing as A Day in the Life. Yes, yeah. I love that song.
I know, me too. So what the nighttime looks like, what a normal night looks like is it's going to look a little differently for everybody, for one thing, but frequent waking is biologically normal for babies. It is not a feeding problem. I know sometimes people think, oh my gosh, the baby's up all night feeding. They're not getting enough to eat. What do I do? This is normal. It's not a feeding problem. This is a baby thing. It is very, very biologically normal for them to wake frequently during the night. And part of it is that your baby's got a very small stomach and the human milk is just digested very, very quickly. So they are hungrier sooner, and that's normal. Sometimes people like to do things like give them formula at night so they'll stay fuller longer. Like, don't try not to do those things because this is normal for your baby to wake during the night. It is biologically normal. What is not normal is what adults think, like what our expectations are of babies is not normal. That is what the problem is adult sleep expectations versus infant biology. Like that is what the problem is. And it is protective for them to be waking overnight and is developmentally appropriate. So that is the first thing to kind of think about. Babies, like I had a family recently, their baby is like 5 months old and they wanted to know like about just about 5 months old. And they're talking about like sleep training. And I give their pediatrician, I really like their pediatrician a lot. She's somebody who refers people to me, but they went to the pediatrician and they were asking about sleep training. And the pediatrician was like, yeah, we're not going to talk about that. It's like, I love that. But I said to them, I said, well, what does sleep training look like for you? Like, what do you think that would look like? And it's just, I think you get to this stage where you feel so desperate.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, why, the baby should be sleeping more. Why is the baby not sleeping? And it's just developmental, that's just, and a lot of times in their situation, the baby was sleeping and then hit that 4-month mark where there's just so much developmentally happening with babies at that age that they tend to start waking again, and they go, oh my God, the baby was sleeping so great. Why can't we get back to that point again?
Yeah.
And it's really hard, but it's very developmental. So let's start with the evening. Now that we've got that part out of the way about how developmentally normal it is for babies to wake. Evening is typically evening is when you see the cluster feeding and the fussy times. That is very normal. Cluster feeding is, and we do have episodes on cluster feeding and why babies do it, but it is a way to build your milk supply. They are encouraging more milk. Like, a lot of people will think, like, the baby's cluster feeding, I must not be making enough milk. They're starving in the evening and I don't have enough milk for them. Cluster feeding is their way of making sure that you have enough milk. So it is completely opposite from what you think it is.
Mm-hmm.
It is. Babies also will cluster feed because their nervous system is overstimulated. So it is their way of calming themselves and being close to you. And it is just a very developmentally normal thing for them to do. So it's kind of hard to get through. And I would tell parents all the time, I'm like, cluster feeding sucks, because it does. It is hard. It's all you're doing is feeding this baby. You feel like they're just fussy. You just want to like get things done in the house. That is one of our other expectations too. And it's really hard when you have other children and you're trying to go through this, but to get the help where you can get it. Make sure your partner is helping. Make sure that, I hear it so often from parents who have like other children, that they'll be like, well, I always did the bedtime and now I've got the cluster feeding baby. So now my other children need their bedtime routine done, but I can't do that with them. So now there's upheaval in the house. Set it up prior to the baby coming where somebody else is doing bedtime routine with your toddlers, or kind of trying to change up the routine a little bit before the baby gets there. Because once the baby's there, it's going to be harder to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So try to prepare for that when you can. And I know, Abby, you would always tell us how Josh would take Jack while you dealt with Exley.
Yes. And then when we've done it the opposite too, that like, because I was still nursing both of them.
Mm-hmm.
So Jack was 3 years older, and then Jack was still nursing to sleep. So I would go to sleep with Jack first while Josh was rocking Exley. And so I put Jack to sleep, and then I would go get Exley and nurse him down to sleep. But he had kind of adjusted to spending that time with Josh, like kind of getting nursed to sleep.
Yeah. You have to definitely, you might need to be rearranging some schedules and things like that. That is pretty normal. And think about it before the baby's born. I know we usually forget these things. We were just talking about like the last episode, how you forget what those first days are like. And you absolutely do. But if you're right now pregnant with your second or third baby and you're like, okay, what am I going to be expecting with having a toddler at home as well? You can definitely, those cluster feeding days will happen again. Those fussy times will happen again.
Yeah. And you can't, it's good to think about like the different roles that you and your partner can play and the different things that you can handle. before the baby gets there. But like it's such an abstract thing before it happens. It's really hard to plan that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just kind of being ready for, if you just make yourself in those early days, you're just kind of making yourself available. Like, okay, I have to do this. I have to nurse the baby right now. Okay. And my partner can take the toddler, or can be doing this, or when I need to take a shower now, so I can do that when my husband has, or my partner has, is free or whatever. And that kind of time can be allotted to him or her taking over the newborn. And just kind of like, it's so chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
You have to just be ready you have to be ready to just like not know yet. And you're going to fall into a routine, and then it's going to get mixed up, and then you'll fall into another routine.
Mm-hmm.
Just be ready to handle things, and it's okay. If it's chaotic and you're getting through the moment, then you're doing it.
Absolutely.
You just tell that to yourself. At the most chaotic moment, when both babies are crying and you're both handling it, just look at each other and be like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
It's happening. We're literally doing it. We're not failing. We're not, it's not out of control. Like you're handling it and you're doing it.
Absolutely. You're not failing. That is the biggest thing to remember. You are not failing. So your hormones this is an important piece. Hormones. And your prolactin, which keeps your milk supply high, peaks overnight. And that is why overnight feedings are important at this stage of the game, because it's going to keep your milk supply where we want it to be. Your milk also has melatonin in it, so it's really important for your baby to get that milk, because babies do not have a circadian rhythm. So it is your milk that helps them to develop a circadian rhythm. So that is a really important piece of it, that they're getting your milk at night to help them develop a circadian rhythm, to actually help them sleep better. So a lot of times you will hear people say things like, my partner wants to give a bottle overnight, so I'm going to pump and let my partner wake up with the baby, and that's going to be helpful. Yes, that's helpful. Sort of. It might not be helpful for your milk supply. Like skipping night feeds can really interfere with what is biologically supposed to be happening. So it can impact supply. So you would still have to get up and pump. So I don't know, whatever you would rather do. Let your partner help you. Let your partner get up, get the baby, change the baby's diaper, bring the baby to you, side life breastfeeding, have the baby right there next to you. Let your partner re-swaddle the baby, like get the help where you can get it. And I know a lot of times partners go back to work sooner and we don't want to wake them because they have to go to work, which sucks. But a lot of times they want to be helpful. So take the help where you can get it. And if your partner wants to get up with you, I remember didn't we hear from a listener one time who said that her partner got up and would read to her during the night?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that? One of our listeners told us that her partner would read, like they would be reading a book or something, and her partner would read to her so that she stayed up while she was feeding and wouldn't fall back to sleep, so she didn't feel like, because she was afraid she was going to fall asleep while she was feeding the baby.
But also you can fall asleep when you're feeding the baby.
Yeah, that's okay. Because the baby's going to fall asleep while you're feeding them too.
This whole like nighttime situation is going to be so much easier if you set up a safe bed sharing situation for yourself.
So you're going to get sleepy. You're
going to fall asleep, and you're allowed to fall asleep. As long as you have the bed set up in the right way, it's okay. It's normal.
It is very normal.
Like you know what you were going on in the beginning about like, oh, it's very developmentally normal for the baby to be waking frequently. And I was thinking about launching into my speech about how like babies are literally wired to wake up frequently, to not go into deep, long sleeps. This is what their brain needs to keep them safe and grow at this point. And then I was like, you know what? We need to do just a whole new episode on just like the basics of that, of the sleep and co-sleeping and bed sharing, like get back to like some basic James McKenna stuff, because we haven't talked about that in a really long time.
Yeah, we haven't. We'll have to do something like that in the new year.
Yeah.
We'll do one of those in January.
It is the new year, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Happy New Year.
Woohoo. Babies, like, just don't skip those night feeds if you can help it. Like, we totally get that it can be hard to get up every couple hours. But try to, do those sideline breastfeeds, try to keep the baby close, try to, get your bed set up in a safe bed sharing, and we'll, look out for those episodes where we're going to talk about that. And we should probably take a break, and then we're going to talk about more stuff that you can do.
Okay, we'll be right back. Today's episode is brought to you by Nursing Queen. And you are all nursing queens. Mm-hmm. This brand is a game changer for all of the breastfeeding queens, making life so much easier when you're traveling out for errands, when you're pumping at work. The tops and the dresses are designed with hidden zippers, or some of them have the little flaps, but it's all hidden. You can't tell that these are nursing clothes. The sweatshirts are perfect for the colder weather. They have new styles as well that you are going to want to see. With this hidden access for nursing or pumping, you're not going to have to lift up your shirt or completely take your shirt off in order to breastfeed in public or pump at work. It's so much easier. And all of their orders are designed and packed and shipped from their warehouse outside of Tampa, Florida. Head to nursingqueen.com so you can check out all of their new styles. It is cold out there. Baby, it's cold outside. Go get some sweatshirts, and so you don't have to be lifting up your shirt and have a cold belly when it is so freaking cold outside. nursingqueen.com, and don't forget to use code BADASS for 10% off of your order. That's Nursing Queen, 10% off with code BADASS. And today's sponsor and the promo code can be found in the show notes under this episode, wherever you're listening from, and also at badassbreastfeedingpodcast.com on our sponsor page. And over there, you'll also find all of our other episodes, our favorite resources page, and information about scheduling your very own one-on-one online lactation consultation with Dianne.
So let's talk about what we feel like at 2:00 in the morning. Nighttime, and if you feel like you're alone in this, you're not. Nighttime magnifies. Nighttime magnifies your anxiety.
Totally.
Intrusive thoughts, self-doubt. I'm not doing this right. Why is the baby up constantly? Why aren't they sleeping? I don't think the baby's getting enough to eat. Like, you're going to have that self-doubt, that anxiety. All of that stuff happens more at night than what you're going to get during the day. That is normal. A lot of it's hormonal. It's cortisol. Abby and I were just talking about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
Cortisol drops at night.
Because I was talking about how much pain I've been in at night because I've been sick. And I cannot shake this sore throat that is just so much worse at night. And I was like, why is it so much worse at night?
Yeah, it's because your cortisol levels drop.
Dianne taught me, and I didn't know that.
Yeah, your cortisol levels drop, and that can also magnify your anxiety. So this is a normal process. Plus, you're not as distracted. Like, during the day, you're distracted by other things. So you're not maybe focusing on it as much. You are not talking to other people at night. In the middle of the night, you're not able to talk to your partner necessarily, or text your friends, whatever. It's a very different setup in the middle of the night. And that can be a lot of that is very normal. So if you are feeling like that, we feel you. We know, we get it. We've been there, and it's something that's going to pass. just kind of keep that in mind that, it's going to pass. We worry about like those nighttime feeds a lot of times, like the intake. What is baby taking in? Are they getting enough to eat during the night so that they don't wake up again? They're sleepy. Sometimes it seems like, I was talking to a parent about this the other day. Sometimes it seems like they're sleeping, but they're actively feeding, but their eyes are closed.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay. Like, it's okay if your baby doesn't have to be like wide-eyed open. In fact, we prefer that they're not in the middle of the night. We want them to eat and go right back to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So it's okay if their eyes are closed, as long as you're getting those good sucks and swallows, then they're feeding actively, even though it seems like they're sleeping. That's totally fine. You changing diapers during the night. This is something I'm kind of on the fence about sometimes, because I would say change them in the beginning, or change them between, like, if you're switch breasts, if your baby eats on both breasts during the night, change them like in between breasts so that you're getting a little bit more activity with that feeding. But it is like really, really normal that your baby will poop during the night, and you end up changing those poopy diapers too, which can kind of re-wake your baby up again. And people have actually said to me that, like, well, I feel like I'm up, like, I get up with the baby, and then I feed the baby, and then I change the diaper, and then the baby will poop, and I got to change the diaper again. And then by the time we get all that done, then they get fed, and then they poop more, and then I got to change it, and then it's time to do it all over again. And it's like, that's just like a baby thing. Like, that's not a feeding problem.
Yeah, right.
That's just a baby thing. They're not going to poop during the night forever either. That is something that's going to go away. So just kind of like take it as it comes the best you can, and realize that this is just a baby thing. Sometimes you don't even have to change those diapers overnight. You're going to get to the point where your baby is like not very wet. Maybe you get a little bit of a wet diaper during the nighttime. I would put them right back to sleep, because they're going to be up in a couple of hours anyway, and you can change them then. So it's totally okay for you to skip a diaper change if you need to. I wouldn't skip a poopy diaper, but if you have to, that's totally okay. Burping your baby in the middle of the night, try not to do anything that's going to re-wake them. Like, you can hold them upright if your baby is like refluxy, if you're afraid of them spitting up. You don't have to actively try to burp them. Breastfed babies, especially if they're quiet, they're not crying a lot right before you put them on the breast. It's the middle of the night. You get them up, you put them on the breast, they eat, they're not fussy. They probably won't need to burp. So I would say try to avoid anything that's going to keep them waking up more. You know what I mean? Like, we want them to go back to sleep. We want everybody to just like feed and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Trying to like do all the extra stuff like we would do during the day might not equate to what you want to do at night. So I remember one of the lactation consultants that I used to work with, I remember her saying one time that she really liked the night feeds. And she was like, the world was quiet. There wasn't any interruptions. It was just me and my baby. And, like, when I thought about it, I remember kind of feeling that way too during the night when I'd be up with my babies during the nighttime feeds, because it was like everything was so quiet. There was no chaos really happening. It was like, it was kind of nice in a way. So if you try to think about it in a different way, try to reframe it in your brain a little bit, it may be a little bit easier for you to get through it.
Yeah.
So some things that you want to watch for is painful feedings, because obviously if you are feeding and you're in pain, you're having, sore nipples, damaged nipples, bad latch, doing it during the night on top of it is going to be really hard. So you definitely want to get that help for that latch when you can. Long feeds during the nighttime, it is really important that you are aware of like what a feeding looks like. That the baby's, sucking, swallowing. If the baby is sucking and swallowing and they're being efficient with their feeding, they're not going to be taking an hour, right? Like a lot of times parents don't realize what an effective feed looks like or what an efficient feed looks like. If your baby is just kind of like sucking a little bit and then a random swallow here or there, that's not feeding. What we want them to do is we want them on the breast, suck, swallow, or suck, swallow consistently. And if they are not doing that, if they're doing lots of sucks and a random swallow, that is them not feeding. So it's important for you to know the difference so that you can take them off the breast when they're done feeding. Because a lot of times babies will just stay there and hang out, especially in those early days. And the last thing you want is to be up for an hour and a half in the middle of the night thinking that your baby is still eating when all they're doing is really just kind of suckling. So knowing what is a normal feed, and that might be bringing a lactation consultant in, not during the middle of the night, but having a lactation consultant to help you see the difference between what an efficient feed looks like and what is a baby just suckling. That could be something that you might need to do. If your baby is not gaining weight well, the pediatrician might be like, okay, you got to feed this baby more frequently, especially during the night. That is really normal that we hear that. So one of the big questions that I get is, do I have to wake the baby overnight for feeds or do I just let them sleep? Now, the answer to that is typically you are going to ask your pediatrician, but most of the time, if the baby is back to birth weight, you can let them wake you at night. If your baby is not back to birth weight, you're probably waking them every 3 to 4 hours during the night. And that is what's normal. After they reach birth weight, you should be able to get away from that. Like a lot of times parents will be like setting alarms and all of that stuff. You should be able to get away from that once your baby is back to birth weight and they're gaining pretty consistently. If they're not gaining consistently yet, or their weight is a little bit slow, then your pediatrician's probably going to have you continue to wake your baby during the night. That is pretty normal. So that is pretty much our nighttime. It is really, really like your babies are going to start sleeping longer stretches. One of the other normal things that we see during the nighttime is that you might get that longer stretch first thing. Like your baby might sleep 4 hour stretch and then they'll be up every 2 hours after that. That is very normal. You might not get 2 4-hour stretches in a row. So just kind of knowing what to expect, knowing that the night is going to be broken up and you're going to have fragmented sleep. That is, I think, something that's really important for you to understand that it's going to happen. And having that expectation is going to be a lot better than you thinking, oh my gosh, I thought the baby would sleep at least 4 or 5 hours. They might not, they really might not. But this is not forever. It's going to change. And sometimes those overnights feel like they take forever to get through. But it's, this is why we say like sleep during the day, sleep when you can. If you can sleep when the baby sleeps, do that. Some people can't do that. Some people have a really hard time doing that. But if you can sleep, if you can take naps, do that. Just do what you can to get through it. And we've all been there. So just know that you're not alone.
Yeah, and it doesn't last. It's going to change 1,500 more times.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll just evolve.
My sister used to tell me that. She'd be like, just when you think you've got it down to a routine, it's going to change again. And that's what's going to happen. So this is just kind of like a crash course in some things that you can expect. But do the best you can. And we're here for you.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.